I never expected a technology designed to map forests would rewrite human history. But that's exactly what happened when archaeologists pointed laser scanners at the jungle canopy and discovered something impossible. Entire cities hidden for centuries beneath vegetation, appearing on screens in perfect detail. Cities that shouldn't exist where they were found, built with precision that challenges everything we thought we knew about ancient capabilities. LiDAR doesn't care about official narratives. It just shows what's there. The technology works simply enough. Aircraft-mounted lasers fire billions of pulses toward the ground. Most bounce off leaves and branches, but some slip through gaps in the canopy, hitting the surface below. Software filters out the vegetation, leaving only the terrain itself. What remains is a precise three-dimensional map of the ground, revealing features invisible to satellites, drones, even people walking directly over them. In 2009, researchers flew LiDAR over Caracol in Belize. They expected to map a known Mayan site, maybe find a few outlying structures. Instead, the scans revealed agricultural terraces covering hundreds of square kilometers, road networks connecting distant settlements, urban planning that suggested populations far larger than anyone had estimated. The city they thought they understood was 10 times bigger than the archaeology textbooks claimed. That was just the beginning. Honduras, 2012, deep in the Mesquite rainforest, an area so remote that locals called it the White City, a place of legend where conquistadors supposedly found advanced civilization before it vanished. LiDAR scans cut through the jungle canopy and found it. Not legend, not myth. Actual urban centers with plazas, pyramids, earthworks, engineering that required coordinated labor and sophisticated planning. The White City was real, and it had been hiding in plain sight for half a millennium. Here's what makes this disturbing. These cities didn't fail gradually. They didn't slowly decline over generations. The evidence suggests rapid abandonment. People left functional urban centers, agricultural systems still in place, infrastructure intact. They just walked away, and the jungle swallowed everything so completely that even the local populations living nearby had no memory of what stood beneath the trees. What could make entire populations abandon working cities? The scale keeps expanding. Guatemala, 2018. Researchers scanned over 2,000 square kilometers of jungle. They found 60,000 structures, 60,000. Houses, palaces, defensive walls, elevated highways connecting urban centers across terrain that was supposedly impenetrable. The Mayan civilization wasn't scattered city-states struggling in difficult environment. It was a vast networked society with population estimates that had to be revised upward by millions. But the real mystery isn't what LiDAR found in the Americas, it's what it's finding everywhere else, because this pattern repeats globally. Cambodia's Angkor Wat, the temple complex everyone knows, turns out to be just the ceremonial center of something far larger. LiDAR revealed an urban sprawl covering 3,000 square kilometers, making it the largest pre-industrial city on Earth. Sophisticated water management systems, neighborhoods, road grids, engineering that rivals modern urban planning. All of it invisible until lasers cut through the jungle. The Amazon rainforest, long dismissed as too harsh for large civilizations, is yielding geometric earthworks, settlements, agricultural modifications that suggest millions lived there before European contact. Not primitive tribes, urban populations with engineering knowledge and coordinated building capabilities, What's emerging is a pattern that shouldn't exist according to conventional archaeology. Advanced urban planning appearing simultaneously across continents. Precision earthworks requiring mathematical knowledge. Coordinated infrastructure projects spanning vast distances. Agricultural systems supporting populations far larger than the carrying capacity models predicted. And then abandonment. Rapid, complete abandonment. LiDAR doesn't interpret, it doesn't theorize, it just maps what exists beneath the surface. But what exists keeps contradicting the timeline we've been taught. These cities demonstrate capabilities that don't fit neatly into the narrative of gradual human progress. They show knowledge systems that appear fully developed, not experimental. They reveal coordination across distances that shouldn't have been possible with the technology we're told these civilizations possessed. The standard explanation points to environmental collapse, climate change, resource depletion, plausible enough for one site, maybe two. But when the pattern repeats across continents, when multiple advanced urban centers all show evidence of sudden abandonment within similar timeframes, you have to start asking different questions. What if these weren't independent developments? What if the architectural similarities, the engineering precision, the mathematical layouts visible from the air, what if they represent something connected? Not culturally necessarily, but technologically. As if different populations were working from similar knowledge bases, building according to principles they all understood.
Peace.
That's where this investigation gets complicated, because the evidence LiDAR provides is objective, but the implications challenge comfortable assumptions about human development. What makes the LiDAR discoveries truly unsettling isn't just the scale, it's the timing. These abandonments cluster around specific periods, not randomly distributed across millennia, but concentrated, as if something happened that affected multiple regions simultaneously. Consider the logistics of what we're seeing. Cities don't just empty overnight, people don't abandon functional infrastructure without reason. Yet the archaeological evidence shows exactly that. Cooking fires left cold mid-meal, tools abandoned in workshops, irrigation systems that stopped flowing despite being mechanically sound. The populations didn't slowly migrate, they left quickly. And here's what conventional archaeology struggles to explain. Where did they go? When Rome fell, we can trace population movements. When cities collapsed in Mesopotamia, we find people relocating to other centers. But with these jungle cities, the populations simply vanish from the record. Millions of people, sophisticated urban dwellers with engineering knowledge, they just disappear. The technology itself raises questions nobody's adequately answering. These weren't simple settlements. The water management systems alone demonstrate understanding of hydraulics that required precise calculation. The urban planning shows coordination across distances that demand communication networks. The agricultural modifications reveal knowledge of soil science and crop engineering. All of this supposedly developed independently in isolated regions. All of it supposedly abandoned for local environmental reasons. The coincidences pile up until they stop being coincidences. LiDAR is revealing something else that doesn't fit the standard model: geometric precision. These earthworks, these urban layouts, they follow mathematical principles, not approximately, precisely. Angles that repeat across sites separated by thousands of kilometers. Proportions that match despite no documented contact between civilizations. Alignments that suggest astronomical knowledge more advanced than we credit these cultures with possessing. You can dismiss one site as coincidence, maybe two, but when LiDAR maps reveal the same geometric relationships appearing in Cambodia, Guatemala, and the Amazon, you're looking at pattern, not accident. The resistance to these implications is instructive. Rather than investigate the connections, mainstream archaeology fragments the evidence. Each site gets studied in isolation. The similarities get attributed to convergent evolution, as if humans independently arrived at identical solutions using identical mathematics, despite having no contact. That explanation worked when we couldn't see the full scope. LiDAR makes it impossible to maintain. What's buried beneath our planet's jungles isn't just lost cities. It's evidence of capabilities that challenge the narrative of linear human progress. Evidence that suggests knowledge systems existed, functioned at high levels, then ceased. Not gradually, catastrophically. The geological evidence compounds the mystery. In multiple locations, these buried cities show signs of rapid sediment deposition, not centuries of gradual accumulation, meters of material laid down quickly, flood deposits, volcanic ash, evidence of events that would have been catastrophic on regional scales. But here's where it becomes impossible to ignore. The dating. When you examine the abandonment layers, when you look at what buried these cities, you find something disturbing. Similar time frames across distant sites, catastrophic deposition happening within windows that overlap suspiciously. Natural disasters happen. Volcanoes erupt. Floods occur. But when advanced urban centers across multiple continents all show evidence of catastrophic abandonment within similar periods, you're not looking at isolated natural events. You're looking at something systemic. LiDAR can't tell us what happened. It can only show us what's there. But what's there demands explanation beyond the comfortable narratives we've constructed. These weren't primitive peoples gradually building towards civilization. These were sophisticated urban societies with advanced knowledge that suddenly ceased to exist. The question isn't whether lost cities exist beneath the jungle. LiDAR proves they do. The question is what their existence means for our understanding of human history. Because if these civilizations possessed capabilities we've attributed to much later periods, if they coordinated across distances we're told were impossible, if they all collapsed within similar time frames for reasons that remain unexplained, then our timeline needs revision. Walking through jungle today, you're walking over civilizations, not ruins, complete urban systems buried intact beneath vegetation. The technology finally exists to see them. Whether we're ready to accept what they reveal about our past, that's a different matter entirely. The lasers don't lie. They just illuminate what we've been walking over for centuries, never knowing what lay beneath our feet. I didn't set out to question the foundations of established history. I just followed where the evidence led. And what LiDAR reveals beneath the jungle canopy isn't just lost architecture. It's proof that human civilization followed a path more complex than we've been taught. Cities that shouldn't exist demonstrate capabilities that don't fit our timeline. Populations that vanished leave questions we're not asking. The technology has given us the ability to see what was hidden. What we do with that knowledge determines whether we're ready to revise the story we've been telling ourselves about who we are and where we came from.